Hello, hello, beauties. Welcome to day one of Money as a Portal. So, while everyone is kind of getting here, I'm just going to take a few breaths and a few moments to connect and just begin to hone in on the energy. So, if you're just joining me, I invite you to just join me in dropping in. So, just taking a few deep breaths. Allowing yourself to come into this moment. Join the vortex of this journey. Maybe just notice where you are as you are arriving. You can notice how you're feeling. You can notice any thoughts that are moving through. The places where you're excited about this journey. Maybe the places where you're like, I don't know, maybe I'm going to be wasting my time. Is this just going to be another business thing? Maybe the places where you're thinking, I've tried these things before and I'm still in the same place. Just noticing and welcoming it all. Yeah, and as we get here, I just want to name my intention for this journey. And my intention is for money to be a portal for you to know yourself deeper and more than you have ever imagined possible in these 3 days. And I desire it to be a portal for you to connect deeply to yourself, to your heart, and to your soul, so that you can bring that energy more forward into your business, into your relationships, and into all areas of your life. And so it is. So welcome. So today I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping and just kind of going over some of the logistics of this journey, and then we're going to dive in. And throughout these 3 days, we're going to be focusing on 3 different areas. So today we're going to start with your relationship with money. Tomorrow we're going to dive into your personal energy, and then Wednesday we are going to look at your relationship with money again, and we're going to look at creating a new relationship with money. So that's where we're going with this. This is going to be much different than your typical, money healing thing or, a money challenge in your business. We're not actually going to be looking at any strategy or action steps or any of that stuff. So if you're looking for that, surrender that now, because we're not doing that here. It's going to be much deeper than that. And my intention is, rather than giving you a straight line approach or telling you, what's worked for me, I really want to help you tap into your own knowing of what's right for you, because that is the place where the most magic and the most flow can happen. And, when we're in that magic and that flow of exchanging with our own knowing, exchanging with our own life force, trusting our own knowing and our own life force, right? That inner safety, that inner safety is then what allows us to exchange with money in a new way. And so that's where this is going, and I'm excited. I'm excited to be diving into this with you. So throughout the 3 days, we're going to be using this Facebook community, Soul Inspired Success, as a sacred container. So at any point, if there's anything you want to share, anything you're wanting to be witnessed in, or anything that you're needing support around, feel free to use this group. You can simply comment on my video from the day, or you can create another post. If it's something that you want specifically from me, go ahead and tag me, just so that, I make sure that I see it. And also, if you're wanting something specific, try to name that in your post, so that the other participants know what you're asking for, and also I know what you're asking for. And so that could be, I just want to be witnessed, right? So in the naming, I just want to be witnessed, we all know what you're wanting, right? We know that you're just wanting to be witnessed, or I'm just wanting to share, right? Okay, well, great. Or we can witness you in that sharing. If you're needing support, or you're needing people to hold space for you or something like that, go ahead and name that, so that, again, we know, and we can all have healthy boundaries around that. So let's see what else. I think that's it. Okay, yeah, last piece. So today and tomorrow, the call is going to be at 9 o'clock. And then on Wednesday, it's going to be at 11, because I had a little scheduling thing. I have a client at 9. So you can mark your calendar, and the replay will go out via email. So if you're on my email list already, perfect. No worries to sign up. If you're not, I'll drop the link in the comments below. That way you can make sure you're signed up to my list, and to make sure you get the replay. Also, feel free to invite friends, so if you have any friends that you feel like would benefit from this, or family members, go ahead and invite them. I would be delighted for them to join us. Any questions as we sort of land and get here? If so, you can drop them below. All right. Oh, so much energy is already moving through this morning, and yeah, it feels potent. It feels really potent. There's some fire energy, and also this softness, this sweetness, and what I'm curious about is how these two can begin to come together and play together, maybe in a new way. And I have a feeling we'll be exploring that throughout these 3 days. So before we drop in, I just want to kind of start by talking a little bit about money and the energy of money. And so, as healers, and I think really anybody, right? Anybody living in this day and time, money is a huge thing. It's a huge topic. It's a huge energy. There's a lot of old energy wrapped up in it too, right? And so I feel like it's such a powerful place for healing, and also what I've been noticing in my own exploration is the ways that it can also be a bypass for our own healing, because there's so much energy wrapped into it, and there's so much fear, and there's so much illusion, and there's so much of these old paradigm structures, and even these old structures that are not ours. right? It might be collective, where it's just like the whole collective, or maybe it's, ancestors or our family lineage. Or maybe it's the online world of how everyone else is doing it, and what you're supposed to do and what success means, right? There's like all these external constructs around money. And, you know, when we are turning towards this and looking at it as a portal for healing, I feel like it's important to name all of that, and then there's also the places where, we've bypassed money as maybe a spiritual community of thinking, well, money's not holy, or, it brings up discomfort, and, it brings up discomfort for maybe me as the healer to charge, right? Or it might bring up discomfort for the person that's needing healing. And, healing's really the more important thing. So let's just bypass money and like go around that energy, right? Of like not really charging what the thing is worth, or shifting the circumstances. And so I want to name this because it really feels important. My desire through this 3-day journey is really to look at each of us as an individual and our truth, because what I found is when we're in integrity with our own truth and what we are being asked from our soul, in each moment, and also from our journey, our healing process, there's an inner integrity and there's an inner alignment in that. And, the truth is, each point of our journey, we may be at a different place. And that doesn't mean that we're doing it right or wrong, So I've been at places in my business where I have, successfully, had 10K months, or, successfully had a significant amount of money coming in for 6 to 8 months at a time, like it was all set up. And then I've also been at places in my business where I had no idea how money was going to show up for me, and I was being asked to surrender and trust and also show up and take action, and then I've also been at places where I was feeling called to dissolve all the structures and not take action, and to lean back and to listen and to wait to be shown, right? Even if that meant fear about money and how it's going to come up, or, is it going to come to me, and like, what's going to happen, And so I want to just take a moment and invite you to even feel into the stories that I'm sharing with you right now, because there's a way in each of these situations we can bypass, right? And also there's this middle energy of like actually being in alignment, because as soon as the fear comes forward, we can go into feeling like, oh my God, I need to be doing a thing, or we can go into the collapse of it's just going to happen for me, And the truth is, there's this middle ground. And, that's where it's being in integrity with yourself, your own healing, and with what your soul is asking of you. And so I want to just take a few breaths here. Oh, yeah, and just feel into your body. You can notice what's moving through you. Yeah, let me know. So Teresa says she's having some issues with the video. Is anyone else having issues? Let me know. Yeah, and as we're feeling in, I want to just invite you to like imagine, having this golden thread, down your energy. So maybe coming from your crown, going all the way down to the earth. And I want to invite you to notice, notice yourself in relationship to this thread. And notice, like, how is this thread moving through you? So is it, going straight down your energy center? Or, do you feel like your body is like leaning forward a bit, or maybe your body's leaning back? Just notice. And if you feel guided, you can share below what you're noticing. Yeah, and you can also notice the places where maybe you're trying to adjust it, right? So you might be trying to adjust the string or adjust yourself, and just kind of notice that. Really, there's nothing you need to do, just kind of being in the awareness of what's so. So we're not actually trying to change anything, we're just building our awareness of what is. And then another thing that's coming forward for me to name, I know some of you joining are like, you have a successful business and maybe you're wanting to move into the next phase. And also, you might be feeling burnt out even in this success. And this morning on my walk, as I was sort of feeling into just the energy and what was wanting to come forward, what I was noticing is this exhaustion, this exhausted energy around money. And, it's sort of this collective exhaustion and this collective fear that has been wrapped up in money, and it really does go back to all of these ideas that money can provide us with a feeling or with a certain level of safety, or maybe it can do a thing for us so that we can have, a more successful relationship, or we can have a nicer house or a nicer car, or all of these different things. Even, right, like if money shows up for me, it allows me to share my work in a bigger way. We've kind of created all of these external constructs around money, and then in that, what I'm present to today is the way that it creates this stress on our system, and it creates this like anxiety, and it, the anxiety to me feels so nervous system. It's almost like wired through our nervous system around like money's gonna do all these things for us. And the truth is it can, right? It can provide these things for us. And when we're looking to it to do these things for us, then we're sort of putting it in this power position, where we're giving away our power to it. And it does create this exhaustion, right? It creates this exhaustion because it's like we're putting it in this power position, and then it's like it keeps us in this other position where we're constantly having to either generate or be in victim mode or do all of these like hula hoop dances, right? And that's needing to stop, right? There's this new relationship with money that's wanting to happen. And, you know, this is as individuals and also as a collective. And this morning when I was on my walk, I was feeling into this exhaustion. And even in that, I could feel myself like, oh my God, I'm so like tired. And I was like, I wonder what herbs I should take, or maybe I should do a cleanse. And, you know, I could feel myself reaching for like, okay, what can I do to fix this exhaustion to then be able to do XYZ, right? And we can insert to get money. And I was just noticing, right? And I was present to the fact that the energy that I was feeling was, you know, part of this journey. And as I was sort of just noticing, and I let myself go from the place of that strategizing mind to the awareness of what was moving through. And as I did that, and like surrendering even the how are we going to fix the exhaustion, right? What I noticed all of a sudden, this dog, and it was a blue heeler shepherd mix, Australian shepherd mix. This pup came up to me and he ended up joining me on my walk. And as it came to me, I just noticed this lightness in my system. And it was like, you know, this inner light just turned on, and I could feel this energy like coming through me from the inside. And it felt like, you know, also this message of when we surrender like some of the hows, right? And also when we surrender the okay, well, two things are coming forward. So the first one is, yeah, when we surrender the hows, and when we surrender that we have to do a thing, it actually lets the energy begin to flow. And then the other thing that is coming forward, and this message was coming forward after my walk this morning, is our relationship with money is actually a representation of our relationship with our soul. And so when we can lean into that, trusting our soul, trusting that everything is for us and it's happening for us, and opening to where we're being guided, what we're being asked, what's needing healing, right? We don't have to do it alone. We have this ultimate safety and support, which can allow things to be more magical than our mind could ever know, right? So the energy came from a totally different place than I would have ever expected it to come from. So I want to just take a moment and let you take a few breaths into that, and just noticing how it's landing for you, noticing what's coming forward. oh, my belly is making all kinds of noise. Like I can feel where there's, this space that's wanting to be created. So even if your mind is like, what's happening? I don't really know like what she's talking about or if I agree with this. See if you can just tap into the energetic of it. You don't have to logically know. There's a part of you that already knows, which is why you're here. Yeah, and then I found myself reading through all of your intentions as I'm getting closer to this video. And as I was reading through the intentions, I found myself going to this place of, so all of these intentions that you wrote were in relationship with money. What if rather than it being about being in relationship with money, you made it about being in relationship with your soul? So I will share some of the examples. So one of the, one thing that many of you said is that you wanted to feel worthy of allowing more money to flow to you. What if you felt worthy of letting more of your soul come forward and flow through you? Whew. Yeah. Another one was, want to go from just having enough to being able to thrive. So what if you could go from just hearing your soul enough to survive to being able to hear it enough to thrive? Then confidence to have enough money, right? What if you had enough confidence to listen to what your soul is asking of you? Relationships. This came forward on my walk too. The way that, there is so much energy around money, right? All of this external energy. And I could feel how it's so easy to sort of lose ourselves in that. And, when I started my business, at first I was clearing a lot of energy that wasn't mine around money. Like, so, what my family believed about money, what I thought my family might think of me if I made more money, or if I made money the way that I wanted to make it, right? And then even when I started to charge, there's like the relationships of feeling my clients' discomfort around money, right? So I'm feeling all of this energy, and the dog was my little shaman on my walk this morning, shamaning this day one activation transmission. And so I'm starting to come home, and as I'm on my way home, I was passing up the dog's house, and I kind of had a little heart to heart with it, and I said, okay, you need to go home. And it wasn't going home. And so it lives about a half of a mile away from me. And, I could feel the way that my old self would have like wanted to get the dog home, and like I would want to tend it, and I would be worried about it, and it would feel like my responsibility. And what I was seeing is also, this is like a relationship with money, right? So if a client's discomfort, uncomfortable with money, I could feel how in the past I wanted to like tend it and like do all these things and try to make it comfortable for them, or if my boyfriend or my mom. And, today what I felt was like this just clear boundary of like, okay, well, whoever's dog this is, it's sort of their responsibility. It's not really my responsibility. I didn't choose to have this dog follow me. And, also there's a way that when someone's signing up to work with us, it's a similar thing. There's our personal responsibility, and then there's the other person's personal responsibility of their decisions. And this goes for relationships too, intimate relationships. When we have these, when we are feeling the pull of all these different energies, maybe not knowing how to stand in ourself, that's going to be reflected with our relationship with money and all of our relationships, right? So, yes. And the more we learn how to plug into our own heart and our soul, right, and embody that, then our energy exchange with money and with life and our relationships can become much clearer because we're in ourself and we're not taking on a bunch of energy that isn't ours or trying to navigate a bunch of energy that isn't ours. So relationship is really, really a huge, huge piece in all of this, which, we're going to do an energy exercise today, and throughout this whole process, we're going to be looking at our relationship with money. So another thing, safety and control. So we desire safety from money, control around money. What if we could feel the safety of our soul and realize the places where no matter what is happening around us, right, and it can feel like things are happening to us, but there actually is a part of us that's in control. And when we can turn towards that part of us, right, the soul, the part of us that's in control of all of this, we can begin to have a different experience, and we have the ultimate safety. Wanting to generate more energy, income, how can we allow more life force to flow through us? Update ways money can find me. Okay, so what if we created more pathways for your own inner wisdom to move through you? So I think I went through the majority of the intentions. So if I didn't get to yours, you can let me know below and I'll come back. But, this is the way that I want to start looking at these things. So money mirroring our relationship with ourself, with our heart, with our soul. Okay? When we increase our capacity to be in ourself and to exchange with life as our self, not only do we increase our capacity to receive money, but we also increase our capacity to have the feelings, right? To have that safety, to have that confidence, to have that deep belly feeling of like, oh my God, receiving abundance. And, also we increase our capacity to let ourselves be seen and met there, right? Because these are the exchanges. We're increasing our capacity to exchange in all areas, not just financially with money. And so this is how money is a portal. And, when we allow ourselves to use money as a portal, so say it's investing in ourselves, we can do it in the old way, or we can do it in the way of like letting it crack us open to more of ourself. Or charging, right? When we're charging for our service, if we're letting it be a portal, yes, the exchange is a portal for your client's healing and also for your healing. What is it asking of you? What is the energetic exchange? Just as much as for your client, for you. And not in the way of the old way is working, right? So they're going to pay me this money and I'm going to show up and I'm going to do this amount of sessions and I'm going to do this for them and this for them and this for them. Like, there's a new way. And the new way is like, what are you willing to, how are you willing to surrender more to yourself in that process? What is your soul asking of you in exchange for the money, right? And I can promise you, your soul really doesn't care how many hours or how many sessions you're doing or how much you're posting on Facebook. There's a deeper exchange than that. So any questions so far? Or anybody want to share what's moving through for them? Okay, so what I want to do is drop in and do an energy exercise. Just to begin to explore, like, what is your relationship with money right now, and sort of see where we are, so that over the next couple of days we can start to create more space, take more responsibility, and really begin to reclaim our power and step into the, I want to say the driver's seat, but it's more of this co-creation that I feel. So I invite you to get comfortable. And if your feet are up, I invite you to put your feet on the ground. And what I want you to imagine is being in this room, and I want you just to first notice how you are showing up in the room. So you might notice, are you sitting in a chair? Are you sitting on the floor? Are you standing? Like, what are you noticing about yourself? Are you excited? Are you curious? Are you scared? You can also begin to notice what you're feeling in your body. How is your body feeling? And then the next thing that I want to do is I want to invite money into the room. And so we can imagine the energy of money coming into the room, and you might notice it showing up like a character or an image. And as it comes into the room, I want you to notice the qualities. You know, what do you notice about it? What qualities does it have? Is it coming close to you? Does it feel far? Does it feel like it's nice or scary? Or some of you, what I'm noticing too is like it almost feels like you're like strapped to a chair, or like you're in this fixed spot, and you know the money has like this freedom to move around the room, but there's a way that it feels like you can't move. So maybe just notice that too. Like, are you able to move or move closer to the money? And if you do, what happens? Does the money allow you to move closer to it, or does it move away? And then I want to just invite you to notice, you know, what emotions, like what are you feeling about this? So are there any emotions that are coming forward just as you're noticing? And you might even notice, where are you feeling those in your body? And then let's see, you know, if we can move closer to the places in you that might be feeling something. And you can begin to get curious. You know, what is this about? Why am I feeling this? And for some of you, you know, what I'm noticing is, you know, the part of you that's feels really young and sort of like victim-y, kind of like pouty. And then for some of you, you know, there's a part of you that feels like there's an injustice. So it might feel kind of angry or frustrated. And you can notice, you know, in this like wanting justice, there's sort of like this fight energy, almost like money's, maybe see what you can learn there in both parts, you know, whatever one is calling you, but see what you can, what is the injustice about, or what is the feeling like the victim about. And I want to just invite you to give these parts of you some space to feel what they're feeling. And also see, you know, if you can give them a little bit of a boundary, like, it's okay for you to feel this, and it doesn't necessarily mean that's true. Money isn't doing a thing to you. Yeah, and then, you know, even in that, you may notice a different layer of emotions come forward. Or what I'm present to too is there's like this shakiness, or like this nervousness, this anxiousness. Yeah, and just see if you can create some space for that part of you too. It's okay. Yeah, it is scary. And it's okay to feel. All you have to do is feel. There's nothing you need to do right now. And as you're doing that, I invite you to notice the money again. Just see what you notice now, if anything's changed or shifted. Beautiful. Yeah, and maybe see if you can go a little closer to it, or invite it a little closer to you. You might even like pick a neutral spot for you to meet in the middle. it feels like there may be like a conversation or some words to exchange. Maybe there's something you want to express to the money, and then maybe also see if it has anything to express to you. Yeah, and I wonder if there's a way that you can invite it to show you and teach you over the next 3 days. Let it know you want to be the student. You want to connect with it. Ask it if it can show you. And if there's anything that you need, right? So if there's anything that you need to do on your part for it to show you or teach you. Beautiful. And then whenever you're ready, you can tell it thank you for showing up. Let it know you're excited or delighted or maybe a little nervous, but willing, whatever feels true, to continue to connect with it and explore this. And also turn towards yourself and thank these parts of you that are scared or maybe have been holding on to the old stories. Thank them for being willing to show up and willing to do this. Beautiful. And then you can allow yourself to take a couple breaths coming back into your body, coming back into this space and time. And then whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. I see you. So, the journey begins. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Let me know what's moving through you, what came forward for you. The more you share about where you are and what's coming forward, the more I can kind of directly speak to that as we're going through these 3 days. So it supports all of us. And also, if you have questions, let me know. And so we dive into the mystery and see what it has in store for us. So I love you, and I'm looking forward to connecting and diving deeper into this exploration.